Okay, in the previous tutorial we looked at how we could use the print command in Python to output text, like this example here. What we're going to do in this tutorial is extend this so that we can get Python to output numbers and also make use of variables. So, instead of outputting text, which we must put inside of quotation marks, if in Python we want to output a number, all we need to do is put the number itself inside of the brackets. You don't need to use any quotation marks around the number. So this command here will certainly output the number 24 into the window down at the bottom here. If we want to output a different number, we just change the number. Run the code again, and this time we get 28. You can also do calculations inside the brackets here. So if I want to do 28 plus 2, all I need to do is type that calculation into the brackets, hit the play button, and before Python prints the number on the screen, it will do the piece of maths. So we get 30 this time. You can also make this more flexible, because Python allows you to create variables. And all a variable is a value inside the computer's memory that stores a number in this instance, and then that number can change, it can vary. So we're going to create a variable called number1, and you can give variables any name, so long as it's not already a keyword in Python. So for instance, we couldn't use the word print because that already exists. So we're going to create a variable called number1, and we're going to assign it the value 30. And then all we're going to ask Python to do is to print whatever is in the variable number1. So if we execute this program now, we should see that Python outputs the value 30, because the value 30 is contained within the variable number1. Obviously a variable's value can change, so if we change this to 32 and then hit the play button, we'll see that Python outputs 32, because number1 now contains 32. That's why it's called a variable, because its value can change. We can also, just like we did before, do some calculations inside the print function. So here what we're saying now to Python is take the value in number1 and add to it 2. So we hit play this time, we should get the output 34, because 32 plus 2 is 34. Another way of doing this would be to do the calculation before we ask it to print. So we're going to introduce another variable called number2, store in that the value 2, and then we're going to create another variable called total, and make total equal to whatever number 1 is, plus whatever number 2 is. So this in effect will create a variable called total that will contain whatever number 1 is, plus whatever number 2 is. All we need to do now is ask Python to print whatever is in total. So let's run this code and see what it does. Python now outputs 34, because 32 plus 2 is 34. If we change the value here to say 10, then total will now be 32 plus 10. Let's run the program and see what we get. We get the value 42. So we can use variables to store values and then use those variables within the print command. Notice, however, that because we're referring to a variable inside the print command, we don't put it inside of quotation marks. And that concludes this tutorial.